Mountain Dew Leaf, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pineapple does belong everywhere you want it to be.
Which one is it? Fuck no.
Absolutely not.
No.
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 No, no way.
Definitely not.
Is this a troll?
No.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza.
No, no way.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza. God damn it, dude. This is not okay, Twitter.
Pineapple definitely not belong on pizza.
No.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza, but I won't judge.
No, man.
Hell no. Pineapple does not belong on pizza. That's just weird.
Get the pineapple off the pizza right now.
Look, man, fantastic content. You know, they're pumping out the real gold nuggets now, but I'm telling you, I can't help but agree with the majority here.
Yeah, me too.
Going with Config once again. Man of the people.
I like Config. He doesn't mince words. He doesn't mince them at all.
Our producer just said it's his favourite, so I guess we should just end the show here. Just close it out.
Also a vegetarian. Doesn't have too many options for things on pizzas, really, does he?
I mean, you can see like Carrigan is, very open. So you can,
you do what you want, man.
Pineapple belongs wherever you want it to be.
No, I liked.
Google a picture of Henry G.
I liked HS. Just like,
look,
man, I'm not going to judge.
Yeah, if you want,
I personally don't like it, but if that's your thing, you do it, man. You do it. He's a nice dude, he is, and we'll be seeing more from Optic as well. They've got a lot of games to play. He's currently standing at 2-1, and they'll be jumping back into the fray today.
Upset alert on the B stream. Alex coming in hot and fresh. Liquid taking on Fnatic 15-14 right now.
My God.
In favour of Liquid. Could be an upset.
Fingers crossed. I mean, Fnatic have just had a real bit of a turbulent time. They started so strong, huge win versus FaZe, and it seems to have been a bit of a downward spiral since then.
I mean, Liquid, of course, up 15-11 against the Force buy, and
no.
can't close it out, and now it's 15-14. Last gun round. 4v4 situation. It's all unfolding right before our eyes, Alex. And the worst thing is, if this goes to overtime, it doesn't suit either of the teams.
It went to overtime.
Went to overtime, of course. So Jason is just not having a good time over in the casting chair. But, I mean, even for Fnatic, even if they go on and win this whole thing, they're still in the danger zone.
They absolutely are. Danger zone. 29 frags from Lecro, of all players, as well, from Fnatic as well. If you want to check out that stream, by the way, you can go ahead and crack open another tab or a second monitor, or your third monitor, because I know how you guys are. It's 2017 after all. But throw it up. It's on YouTube, and it is just you can find it on the same YouTube channel. It's just ESL CS. Click that second video, and you can watch them both simultaneously. Get to hear the dulcet tones of
everyone.
The UK casters, I believe.
I prefer the gaming.youtube.com/ESLCS. It's better looking.
It's basically YouTube in dark mode, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple other
extra things. Okay, fantastic. Well, we have a game to talk about. I've got myself, Charlie B, and Yanko. We're going to be talking about this one. I mean, it's HellRaisers Astralis, and we have just seen Astralis kind of get ripped to shreds by none other than FaZe Clan. And I mean, look at these odds from Beltway. It's actually there's not that much of a deviation. The huge, of course, thing you have to remember is Device is not present. We do wish he was. Unfortunately, due to health issues, he's kind of resided himself until the next year. So 2017 looks bleak for Astralis. Don't have that star AWPer, and roles are changing. They've got Rubino standing in now. However, as you guys have said already, I'm just kind of catching everyone up. We've also talked about the success at Blast, how perhaps that was a bit of a flash in the pan.
And they were blowing opponents out the water. And I think one of the big things is actually Dennis as a stand-in, right? The pistol master. And Chad knows like how miserable the stats are for Astralis in pistol win round percentage. Yeah. They don't win a lot of those pistol rounds. And having someone like Dennis standing in, also playing a bit more loose, letting him also go ham, really helps you in securing more of those pistol rounds.
Yeah, I mean, that's you had a crazy stat for Mirage.
That Mirage one was so trash at some point. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And I think that is a factor. And we have been saying that Rubino isn't the same type of player as a Dennis to be as free. And that's a problem that Astralis are having. But I think we should lump the praise probably towards HellRaisers and the fantastic Counter-Strike that they've been playing, right?
I could not agree more. I mean, Yankee, you dropped a stat, but probably new viewers, it's worth reiterating, is just that, coming into today, HellRaisers players, especially the newer names, were taking up the ratings.
Yeah, Issa is 4th, Voxic is 6th, statistically so far in this tournament. And I was also, there in China when they were playing, albeit with a stand-in. Voxic couldn't travel, so they had Fates. And, he had a strong performance there. Issa did, and HellRaisers as a team did decently well. That being said, in this tournament, they played the weaker teams so far. I mean, if you can call Fnatic a weaker team, but Luminosity and Liquid with a stand-in. So now it's now if they are going to make it into the playoffs, now they have to do it against the most difficult opposition in Astralis.
I mean, from not qualifying for DreamHack Open, from not qualifying for Epicenter, from not qualifying for Oakland, I mean, they have had they have not had an easy 2017 by any stretch of the imagination. They stand top of their group, and a weak, hamstrung Astralis is up next.
Well, there's more context to add to this roster, right? Sure, in this event thus far we've seen good things, but you have to look at it. When they started this season, they lost Sticko going to Mouse Sports, Bondic went to the bench and then off to Tailu, and then you have the likes of Zero who just went, nah, I don't want to play anymore, so they've had to bring in another player. So they have 3 new additions throughout the course of the season, and they've actually been able to turn it around. Dead Fox changing role, Angel's still in-game leading this unit. He's obviously a very proficient in-game leader that he can shape these players, talented guys, into playing a good brand of Counter-Strike, and I was very impressed with their mid-round decision-making on maps like Overpass, where they're able to, get that opening kill, show patience and poise, and then go from there and close out rounds. And I think, if they come into this matchup, it's going to be a bit more of a brawl because this is a looser Astralis. This is where the Stars obviously need to go toe-for-toe and hope that the game plan pans out.
And I think a really interesting point that is worth exploring further is that the HellRaisers have been looking fantastic on one side of the map. There are T-sides that have been carrying them through for them in some of these victories and some of these close defeats. They've been having wonderful starts, especially on that T-side, and then things come crumbling down. 2 rounds on CT, 3 rounds on CT. Yanko, it's certainly not good enough if they want to be making a splash at the playoffs.
Absolutely, and that might be a good thing for them coming against Astralis now, because Astralis with a stand-in obviously are not going to be as structured, as practiced, so that might make it a bit easier for HellRaisers on the CT side. But something that I love about Angel as an in-game leader, if you follow him on Twitter as well and he's commentating some of the other games, he has a very good understanding of how you need to play against certain opponents and how you need to play in a game regardless of the score, right? In a sense of you can't allow, in nowadays Counter-Strike, everyone's so good, you can't allow yourself to play scared against anyone. You need to play in a certain way, no matter the score, because that's going to give you the best chance to win the actual game. And it's very important that you as an in-game leader have that attitude, because then you can translate that to your players. Some of them very inexperienced internationally, Voxic Issa, Fates as well. I mean, he went off to China to play. I don't really call that international experience on a high level. So having someone so experienced, playing well on the server, and having a good understanding of how you need to lead is going to benefit these rookies, so to speak, a lot.
Yeah, the rookies are just kind of one part of this incredible puzzle of HellRaisers, a team we have kind of, still are learning an awful lot about with every game they play. Something that interests me is that, not too long ago, we had this very clear idea in our heads as people that watch a whole lot of Counter-Strike, and I'm sure a lot of people at home had the same, which was that it doesn't work if everyone's speaking a second language, or you have this mismatch of pulling, you pull a Team King win, or what is now FaZe Clan with, it just didn't work. And now you have Angel from Ukraine, I'm going to get this right, so I'm going to look. Okay. Dead Fox from Hungary, Woxic from Turkey, Issa from Jordan, Fates from Estonia. Slap them together, people that just like playing the video game, and it's working.
Like what we see with the Nordic region, or like the FaZe, for example, is they have quite a few guys who are from that part of the world, so they'll speak similar-ish languages, whereas this is just a crazy mismatch. But I think when you look at who the support structure is for this HellRaisers team, being Jonta, the coach, right? He would coach back in the day with Flipside and Blade, and we know that Blade, he runs a very tight ship. He's brought any of that over here. If you actually have a lot of structure and you have a lot of protocols in place, it can kind of make it much easier because everyone knows how to react without needing to communicate. Okay. It just means a lot more prep, a lot more homework, right?
So what you're saying is kind of, as an example, hypothetically, you use the old Fnatic as an example. They succeeded, and they were so loose, and they were so free-flowing, and they were very mid-round decision-making because they were all, rocking around. They're all Swedish, and they're just kind of good understanding of how they play and how they're going to communicate.
Good chemistry as well, yeah.
With this, you're saying that with teams like this, you kind of do have to have a bit more of that Blade or now Angel style of leadership, Yanko. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think it also helps the younger players, right? When you give them more direction, that eliminates them having to make individual decisions a lot of the times, and also it teaches them how to play in certain scenarios. And then after a while, when you realize that you do need to play a bit more loose, maybe you're a bit more one-dimensional, it's easier for them to make those decisions in a split second, which is what you need to do when it comes to high-level Counter-Strike.
I like to call it color by number Counter-Strike, so you get to a waypoint and then you have all these decisions, and Angel just has to say, we're going to do option A, B, or C, or 1, 2, or 3 if we're going to do it by the numbers. And from there, everybody should know what they need to do, right? And it's not too difficult to report the information back to the in-game leader to help that, smoke here, Molotov here. Sure. And once you've done your homework on tendencies, which HellRaisers definitely have, this is preparation. We spoke about this the first segment of the day. These underdogs that have so much more of it coming up against tough opponents.
Yeah, it's only going to get more difficult here, especially because, I mean, you both can attest to this, but when you're playing against teams like Astralis, like the world's greatest, the teams that have regularly featured in the top 5, if not top 10, there are situations, there is, you know, the way the cards fall is sometimes you can't have a strategy, right? There can't be a predetermined plan for something that goes down in this world-class Counter-Strike. Sometimes it's just intuition, sometimes it's just you have to feel it, as we hear from SK all the time.
Probably even most of the time, I think it's safe to say, but you always, in my opinion at least, need to have those set executes from the beginning, right? Because if you can get a read on, if you can see a pattern in what your opponents are doing, well, then there's a specific thing that counters it. And then if you have it preset, so that you don't have to explain to your players what they need to do on the fly, one is going to be much better executed in terms of timings and use of utility and all of that. And, you know, two, it's much easier for everyone to know what, you know, just call, hey, let's do like the fast haze play that we have, or the Fnatic round, or, you know, people call it in different names. And once it's like that, then the players, oh yeah, I know what I do. This flash, this smoke, I look this way, and my teammates is covering the other side, and that's it. We explode. And if it indeed happens that you got the good read on what the opponent's setup is, that round is going to work 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely, it's the ones where it doesn't. That 1 times out of 10 where things do tend to go awry.
Someone goes ham usually.
Yeah, someone does something magical. I mean, of course, there's lots of players capable of that. We saw a couple of glimpses of what Dupree was doing in that category over at Blast Pro Series. Still, let's start talking maps, because so far HellRaisers' only successes have come from one map, and one map in particular. Inferno is where they've been picking up these stompings. It was 16-4, 16-5. And so I can't help but think, or question you guys, if you're Astralis, you've done the tiniest fraction of research, you know you're not going to let them play that map.
Yeah, but their map pool's weak, right? Because they have Rubina as the stand-in. They have to pick something. And once again, I give you the boring answer, the middle ground maps, right? Because you're not going to come into this needing to practice too many. Normally, when you play best of ones, you know that you can have 1 of 3 maps prepared. Oh, sorry, 3 out of the 7 maps prepared, right?
Yeah.
And there you should be pretty safe. So unless they've actually gone for something that they think is a good pick against HellRaisers, I think we're just going to do the same old. And Inferno could even come into that mix.
The problem is they are not going to get Mirage because it's a map that HellRaisers veto. So the only other map that Astralis has played has been Train. You know, HellRaisers can go for that, but I think that's also not on their, you know, stronger side. So that might actually push Astralis out of their comfort zone, even with Rubino, and give HellRaisers a good chance of an upset here and potentially clinching their playoff spot.
My God, it would be crazy to see those 3 points go HellRaisers' way. That would put them 10 points up, and they would be looking very comfortable. We do have the first couple of vetoes, and you're absolutely right. Train is just not having any of it. HellRaisers take that out first.
The problem here is for Astralis, what do they do with Nuke in such a scenario? You know, if you're HellRaisers, now because you have the 2 vetoes, you're probably not going to risk something like Nuke going through. So I would assume they're going to ban Nuke and Mirage here just to be on the safe side of things. That leaves Overpass and Inferno, and they've been very successful on Inferno, and historically on Overpass, that's where they pull off the major upsets in Pro League, if not even beating Astralis on that.
And that's where they built Astralis on, actually. You're absolutely right.
And in the last phase where we just saw FaZe versus Astralis banned Overpass as the first map, right? And I know it's FaZe, I know that their Overpass is pretty deadly, but the same could be potentially said for this HellRaisers roster because it's one of their better maps. So the big question marks right now for Astralis and where they want to take this one.
Let's do that final reveal then. Let's find out what this map will be, and it is going to be Overpass.
Damn.
Astralis were given the choice, and they had the choice of the map we lost to them and had the upset online, or the map that they've been dominating offline. They've opted to take it to the online battlefield of Overpass.
I think it's probably the better choice still for Astralis. Yes, it's a very tactical map. In a sense, you need to be very coordinated on both sides of the map as a team in order to have success, but you still have the core of the team there, right? As we already said, Rubino is an intelligent player. I think he can fill those gaps decently well, and now it's up to the core of Astralis to do the hard work, basically, and Chad pointed out HellRaisers on Overpass do a very good job of playing with advantages.
That's something we're going to have to keep our eyes open for. Then with our kind of our final minutes, then I just want to kind of investigate as to, you know, your expectations for HellRaisers now you've seen success, because you know, there have been examples of this where a team does make a play. Bearing in mind the results aren't, you know, mind-boggling. Fnatic have been inconsistent. They've got their 16-5. That was quite a huge win, admittedly, but it is still on a map you could have had a whole lot. You know, you could just be very comfortable on one map. And Liquid with Zeus. So I mean, I imagine you need to see more, Chad, before we start getting excited about HellRaisers' future?
It's a wait-and-see kind of game, unfortunately, Alex, because the stars stepping up yesterday, there could be a little bit more temperamental than like solid stars, you know, the stars that we see coming day in, day out, like the Nikos and Simples of the world, right? These guys are relatively untested on land, still playing at the smaller events. Right now, this is where the pressure environment is, going up against a bigger opponent like Astralis and one that could push them through to the playoffs. So I can't really put my finger on it, unfortunately.
I think this is their best chance to clinch a playoff spot. They play one of their best maps against a team they already beat on the map, and they're now even playing with a stand-in without their star opper. So if HellRaisers really want to prove that they belong, in at this level of Counter-Strike, this is where they need to clinch that win, because trying to get that last game of the day versus FaZe, I don't see that really happening.
Yeah, this is their one shot, one opportunity for sure to see if they can seize everything they've ever wanted. It sounds like we've got a slight issue with a player headset, so we are just going to go ahead and continue to just chat-wise for a little bit while we do get them all sorted. You want perfect scenario.
Do you want to talk about my mum's spaghetti?
What's your mum's spaghetti? How is it?
No, mum doesn't really cook. I've
No?
just gone with Eminem.
I like what you did
reference
there.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People got really upset. Eminem's just announced he's going to be doing a song with Ed Sheeran, and everyone's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be cool. I think Ed Sheeran's cool.
What's wrong with Ed Sheeran?
Yeah. He used to do like a little bit of freestyle rapping and stuff, if you look at YouTube.
People don't like gingers. That's basically the...
Bloody hell, where are you taking this one?
Well, Ed Sheeran's a ginger.
Yeah, well, absolutely irrelevant.
So
You're a brunette.
So the thing, like, why HellRaisers are pretty good on Overpass.
Thank you, Yanko.
It's because, like, you see when they get an advantage, as Chad pointed out, they just stop, right? They wait for their opponents to try and make an extra move. They want to wait out the remaining utility that they have, and they just focus on the fundamentals, right? It's one of the basics of Counter-Strike. You know, 5v4, what happens if you get a pick out of nowhere? Just hold. Don't do anything. Like, they're going to probably try and refrag somewhere, play an off angle, a passive position, and if they go for it, they just get an even bigger advantage, right? So don't play into your opponent's hands, and they're so good at it that it's going to be very difficult for Astralis if they go for early aggression as you need to on that CT side and it doesn't work out. Bailing yourself out of that situation against HellRaisers is not as easy as you may think.
It's going to be super scary. Some of the positivity for HellRaisers, they've got a nice logo and a nice jersey. We're actually talking a little bit more about that than you may expect. We have a little bit of fun for you. We're going to continue to talk about this one.
All right.
Sorry, Jad. We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
It's just as we have a little bit of additional time, we can have a little bit of fun as well. We spoke to some of the players and we're talking about who's got the best player jersey. Let's have a little look.
I think SKs are pretty good looking.
That's definitely Astralis. FaZe. Astralis.
FaZe Clan. I like the Luminosity jersey very much. It's very beautiful.
I think SK have a really nice one. I liked it. It's like simple and cool.
I think FaZe has a pretty nice one.
I think the new Astralis jersey is the most stylish one yet.
I love the liquid jersey, and I like the FaZe jersey. It's starting to grow on me.
I like R's and G2s.
The most stylish jerseys is probably from Optic. You see? The green wall, boys.
I would say either SK or FaZe.
I would say NIP.
I think it's us because everyone is so outdated and they're so old. It looks like a doormat or something all the time, and ours is really stylish.
100% SK. Luminosity, of course.
NIP.
The most stylish one? We do.
It's not even a debate here. I mean, it's us. It's always going to be us.
SK Gaming.
I like the new North jerseys. I'll have to go with those.
North, of course.
The most stylish jersey would be Team Liquid.
Lip. I think the most stylish jersey is the new Optic Gaming that's coming out soon.
The most stylish jerseys in esports? I think now with the new SK merchandise looking fresh, you guys should check it out at skgaming.com/start.
Well, you know, we get to see now who's had the PR training.
You can tell who's getting paid enough or happy with the amount they're getting paid, really, can't you?
Yeah. So about that Ed Sheeran new song.
Yeah.
I thought it can't get worse than that. Obviously, we're going to ask a player that's wearing a jersey of his team. What's your favorite?
No,
jersey?
obviously it's the ones that have had the real meeting. You know, Hex has got Optic trained well. They're all
Fallen.
Fallen even better. Yeah, yeah. SK even better, man.
I had a point, and I would like to make it if I can.
Okay.
Building on what Yanko was saying.
Please, Chad, make your point.
Building on what Yanko was saying about, you know, that mid-round and how HellRaisers can mitigate the aggression, there's two ways you can deal with it. On the CT side, you can go all in. You can do like a four-man stack or aggression and finish the round there and then. Or when you go and you lose a player and you want to take some map territory back, do it with numbers. Don't just do it with one guy going for a solo information play off the back of a flash. Do a gambit play, right? And actually take a risk, because that way you can trade out efficiently and you could potentially go from there.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a team play so fundamentally well, they really take their time. So you can also try and take a risk, but the other way. Just play super passive yourself, save your utility, and even with a man down, try with that utility maybe to, you know, shut down the execute that they go for to end the round themselves. It's quite difficult, but I agree. It's always about when you want to refrag, you need to do it smart. You can't just, you know, one player can't be, oh, I'm going to push out monster. No, maybe you just throw a flash monster and draw a little attention to yourself, and then someone pushes water, and that's where you get the advantage back.
Yeah, and this is where we perhaps are treading water a little bit, and I want to take this somewhere else. I appreciate your insights, but I do think there is a more insightful conversation that we can now start to move towards, because we have no ETA just yet. We're working on it. It shouldn't be too long, though. I mean, headset issues tend to not be the worst you can have. If an SSD explodes, we could be here for an hour, but we're not.
Fire alarms are good too.
Yeah, that they are. Yeah, we experienced that. But the question I had for you was, we actually just saw Glaive post an incredibly low statistic. He was dropping, I think, 5-6 frags.
Sure.
And that to me just resurfaced a discussion I haven't brought up on a desk in an incredibly long time, which was just about the in-game leadership and having the excuse. And we have a perfect example, Chad, because you were often the target of some of this criticism. Everyone was like, yeah, but Chad's not fragging enough, and then other pro or other in-game leaders would step in and say yes, but in-game leading is exhausting. We've seen nothing try an in-game lead and just completely fall off the server, and it's everywhere. I mean, there is very two clear sides to this argument. I want to know where you stand and what your thoughts are.
So when I was playing, I had a few things against me in the sense of my support network wasn't fantastic. I had very quiet teammates who didn't contribute a lot. And also, I was like you only saw within the team. So I couldn't really step back and look at it objectively and say, hey, this is what I need to change, this is what I need to fix within my own game and that kind of stuff. I kind of just spiraled, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And then that was a problem. But
wait, you were being hard on yourself because you weren't fragging?
Yeah, right. And then trying to constantly then get better with the strats and fix all that kind of stuff, and then try and be better in the game, and then it just built up and just was worse and worse, right? Yeah. But times that when I was playing looser and I had more help, like when we first added Yam to the team, for example, we were playing a looser brand of Counter-Strike because, we hadn't had a chance to go through all the strats and stuff yet. And I was playing better because I could just make calls on the fly. But the problem is, it didn't work with the team because they wanted to have more structure and that kind of stuff, which makes sense for top-tier Counter-Strike, right? But when you're looking at, for Glaive in this kind of example, it's the same kind of thing. He has a stand-in in the sense that he's giving these guys a lot of freedom to do whatever they want, and he's filling the gaps. So for him to have a bad tournament this time round is because he is constantly adjusting. He's the guy giving up all the leeway for the 4 other players to potentially be stars.
And we have seen examples. I mean, Yanko, this is where you can chime in, but we have seen examples of leaders when they are relieved of the responsibilities, as you're referencing to, just start going off. I remember there was Existence, who was always seen as someone that would not necessarily perform. He started having fantastic games when he was in a looser playstyle. Sean Gares, of course, at this tournament.
Yeah, I don't think that excuse really flies anymore in the current environment, in a sense that as an in-game leader, you cannot allow yourself to solely focus on strats. You need to take some of your time and focus on your individual game, not just deathmatching, but also when you create strats and when you create a game plan. You can't have a player that's just, I'm going to just stand back and do nothing and throw flashes and smokes because, I want to make my star succeed. You can't have a weak point if you really want to become the best team in the world. I think Stanislaw had a good approach when he was on Optic and early on in Liquid. He was saying, I don't want to be just that guy who's sacrificing everything for the team. I want to be able to contribute in the fragging department. And, at times he was actually very successful in that too. And I think that's the modern type of in-game leader has to be that, at the very least, able to carry your own weight, right? The lowest of the low should probably be what Kerrigan is doing, in a sense that, yes, you're still surrounded by stars, but every now and then he still has some good games and has impact.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question then. I was going to say, well, FaZe are considered, top 2 in the world.
And you could see what happens at Oakland on 5th map when Kerrigan is having a lousy game, being the weak point on that A bomb side, and fortunately Exist having a great game, and they were having head-to-head duels, and you can see how it swings. So that just tells you need to have a minimum of performance, and then of course for an in-game leader, don't expect him to go mad, but
they're not there to carry. But you're saying that a severe underperformance, you can no longer use the leadership as an excuse.
Exactly.
Chad, you said you replicate those thoughts.
I definitely think so, right?
Okay. And coming from an in-game leader.
Yeah, the way that the game is mechanically so quickly changing, especially for me, I was talking to Yanko about it yesterday, how jiggle peeking now is such a huge thing. For me as an in-game leader, when I was playing, I didn't even really focus on my movement. I was too busy focusing on everything else, right? And that's integral parts. There's a knife round gun for HellRaisers.
Yeah, and you know what that means? It means headsets are fixed. HellRaisers do pick up the knife round. They'll have the choice of side. The map is Overpass. And gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I know we've kind of painted a fantastic picture to see whether or not Astralis can continue to try and keep their head above water. We heard from their manager, Frederick, at the start of the day. They want that home crowd. They got a taste of it in Blast in Copenhagen, and now, just an hour and a half away, they want it again. Standing in their way is HellRaisers, who've already caused a stir. This will be the biggest win yet. Can they overcome on Overpass, or will they be overpowered? We'll find out when we head over to your casters.
Thank you, boys. Yes, HellRaisers versus Astralis. It's going to be a good. I'm actually really excited for this one because of how well HellRaisers played online, all the good things I've heard about some of these new players. That's all very cool stuff, and I actually haven't had the pleasure of watching a whole lot of them.
I saw them when they first picked up Woxic and also Issa, and to be honest, my first impressions weren't great. They were getting banged out in like online qualifiers by teams that they really shouldn't be. So it's fantastic they've turned things around with Fates also coming into the team. Obviously, he's added that extra string to their bow, as it were. So, I mean, there's no arguing with 7 points, right? I mean, if they win this, they're basically through to the playoffs.
Yeah, which would be very impressive considering some of the struggles we've seen. And obviously, I know Angel's a name that gets thrown around a lot as a potential, in-game leader solution for a lot of different teams over in Europe. So they've got some interesting pieces. Correct me if I'm wrong, Woxic is one of the players that came from like FPL, had like a lot of hype surrounding him from his competition there.
I believe so, yeah.
Cool.
I know they have I think they have a Lebanese player and a Jordanian player, if I'm not mistaken.
They went through all the nationalities on the desk, I believe. There were too many for me to remember. 4 or 5. It's obviously way too high from my memory.
Yeah, it's kind of, so I guess it's kind of like FaZe in that respect. You have multiple nations present, all communicating and pulling in the same direction. But Astralis, I mean, for them, it's almost the opposite. If they lose this, they're in such terrible shape that they absolutely cannot allow that to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, can they bounce back from such a beatdown that they just received from FaZe on Mirage? Aggression from the CTs, from HellRaisers in this pistol round. Angel pushed up, Woxic pushed up long. Dead Fox here as well. Angel's going to get the opening kill from stairs. Dead Fox holding the angle. There's the jump out, and he can't handle it. Nice decision from Dupree. Either way, Woxic's trading at range with the P2000, still taking this fight. Got to be careful, though. He can get wrapped upon, but Dupree's already made plenty of ground in bathrooms. Just got to be careful with that bomb.
It is not going to be pushing in just yet. It's just behind the site with his USP. Also, correction, Woxic is Turkish.
Okay.
Just to be sure on that. I realized after I said it, I was like, hold on a second. Because there was a lot of talk about Space Soldiers. Obviously, we're a Turkish team. But anyway, that's now been rectified. Astralis going to look to push with just shy of a minute left onto the B site. And they are going to have some confrontation in the form of Fates, who is waiting with his P2000. But he's not going to see action from short. They've all gone monster side instead.
Yeah, they've completely circumvented his angle. Smoke up in balcony as well. Dupree holding him back while the bomb gets planted. This is going to be a tough retake. No kits as well. And Dupree just slowly getting into a good position to hold this off. If they can lure HellRaisers into this trap. Here's Dupree. There's the headshot. He gets a follow-up as well, a second one. That's phenomenal. And Issa's the last one left, and he gets them both. So quick, the reaction over. And Issa's a hero.
This is like, you got 4 kills, that's cute. I'm just going to clutch now.
Yeah. Oh, fair play. Denies the ace and the win. 2 for 1. That's a great pistol round.
And now it's Dupree's turn to be like, bros, come on. Kirby was having that constantly on Mirage.
They're just trading it, aren't they?
Yeah. Trading the sad feelings. But that is going to be HellRaisers. What a start that is. Best of 1 as well, where those slip and slides are definitely very much on the cards. And to start off on CT side with that pistol is massive. Absolutely huge.
It's great for HellRaisers as well to just get started on the right foot. Now they can kind of dictate things. So again, we saw this on Mirage, the plant in the first round. Astralis likely going to look to buy into the third. There's some early aggression. Pushing forward, no respect style. Takes out 1. A couple players in door. Flashbang in. That's a nice coordination, but it actually, the peak comes maybe a bit early, but it's still cool to watch. Style points.
MP9 frag for Issa, who's on for a 3K already. And that is a lot of money in his back pocket. And Fates, the Estonian, will get the last 2. So, I mean, really, that went perfectly for HellRaisers. They're both, their MP9 players got all the kills.
Yeah, oh, they love that. That's plenty of bonus money. And now they're going to be going up against the AK-47s. They know that's coming. It is not as good as we saw on the previous map because, remember, in the first 2 rounds against FaZe, Astralis got 2 plants, so they basically had full utility. Here, a couple players are missing a few crucial components.
Zipnik's going to throw the early Molotov towards short, just stopping anyone from pushing from the CTs. And HellRaisers, in the form of Angel, does like to play aggressively on B on both sides of the map. So obviously Astralis have done their homework there. This is allowing them a little bit more confidence when it comes to pushing outside on long. And Woxic has been eviscerated by Glaive. Kirby with an entry. This is much better for Astralis. Trying to turn this around before it gets into horrible territory like the last map did.
Oh, that's a missed shot from Angel, unfortunate. But you could see a little how outclassed some of these MP9s can be in different scenarios against the AK-47. So, 3rd round bye, not catching HellRaisers off guard. They likely knew it was coming. Just couldn't get themselves in great position to deal with it. There's a nice kill. Now he's got to fight his way out, and he's surrounded. Anything he can find here would be great. Clean headshot and a follow-up. A 1-on-2, and he's got a kit. This is actually turned doable. And you can almost see a little bit of panic in Xyp9x as he picks up the pace on this flank. Not a whole lot of hope here, but we'll see what he can do.
Just a flash. He'd obviously rather have a smoke in this kind of a situation, but as you say, he's really clawed himself back in. He's earned the right to still be in this round, but Glaive will take him out. Valiant attempt, though, and taking 3 players away means that that's a lot of rebuys for Astralis. HellRaisers still have enough funds to get an AWP and M4s. So if Astralis lose this round, I mean, they're back into eco territory. That is the power of what Fate's just pulled off.
And remember as well, this is going to be a pretty decent buy for HellRaisers, considering you got to look back to that second round and say 5 kills going to the MP9s. The bonus money really, really helping out here. But certainly you could see some of the skill shine out. That was great. Here's the peek towards Monster. He's going to be blinded up, needs to put that smoke down quick. It's going to plume here. He's blind again, though. He's going to recover in time. No one coming through. It's short that has a lot of pressure on it, but I think the utility usage from HellRaisers is at the correct moment, so it slows down this attack, but that's costly. It's used a lot of utility that they just don't have.
Absolutely. Still 3 smokes for Astralis. Just throw a Molotov. Can be tossed onto multiple angles on B, of course. The likes of barrels is certainly a favorite of most teams. At this stage, Astralis aren't really showing their hands. They've got decent control over the map. They've got a player in connector. They know that no one in HellRaisers is there. It's going to be Rubino. Dupree just chilling outside of B alongside Xyp9x and Glaive, just making sure that Long's clear. So they're trying to systematically shut down each angle of the map.
It's a pretty conservative round from both teams, keeping all options open on this T side. They're running low on nades as well. There's 1 smoke left onto Woksek. That's over towards the A bomb site. The bomb is going to reconvene towards B on Glaive. Glaive and Xyp9x through Monster. Rubino and Caribou are about to join up with Dupree on short. This can be a pretty deadly split.
Well, they were quite slow in their endeavors, so now you've only got 22 seconds left, and all of HellRaisers are still alive. They still have a smoke, they still got a couple flashes to use, and Fates is going to go in with the first kill. It's an even trade, though, 2 for 2. But time itself now are working against Astralis. Angel trying to waste as much as he possibly can, but he's going to go down inevitably. Xyp9x with 1, but now it's all down to this 1v1. 5 seconds left, and he can't get the plant, and Dead Fox is piecing out. Astralis are going to concede, and it's mainly just down to very slow decision on the aggression in the end.
Yeah, so HellRaisers did just enough. That was so very close, just 1 second away. A nice hold from HellRaisers. Still a very costly win. They're going to be on the verge of a reset as well, so that's why you'll see Astralis buy up, even if it's a little bit beat up. Just received word from production as well. Liquid did end up losing in overtime to Fnatic, and with that loss, they only get the 1 point, and because of that, they no longer have a chance to qualify through to the playoffs, so Liquid has been eliminated.
Rest in peace. Unfortunately, because they did take a couple teams into overtime, so it could have gone very differently.
All things considered, playing with Zeus, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of teams with stand-ins, but we've seen some admirable performances from those stand-ins and from teams with stand-ins, but just not quite enough done to make it. They did have a 15-11 lead on that map that they dropped. If they had won that, there'd obviously still be a chance to make the playoffs. Regardless, back to this game. Up in Woksek's hands. There's a 3-man stack for HellRaisers out towards Long. Astralis last round losing by time with this kind of slow, methodical playstyle. We'll see how it goes here. That's a great shot on a jumping player. Goes for the follow-up, another jump, and another kill. Rubino now over to the right. A good flick, a good adjustment. That's some stylish opping. Woksek showing off.
Absolutely.
That pretty much seals it, doesn't it?
Yep. Xyp9x, as good as he is at clutching, doesn't have the bomb. Really has nothing working for him other than an AK. As the rest of his team pretty much just conga line their way into a death in bathrooms. Looked a bit weird. But also, to put things in perspective, obviously just glossing over this, because Xyp9x likely isn't going to clutch. With Fnatic winning, if Astralis were to win in regulation, we'd have 4 teams on 7 points.
Ooh, we call those tiebreakers.
Oh, yeah. That is how incredibly close this group is. But of course, HellRaisers, they started pretty damn well. They're 4-1 in the lead. They don't care about any potential tiebreakers. They just want to get themselves 10 points.
No, and this kind of a style, right? Like you can't really think about what other teams are doing. You just have to win every single game you can, and you just concentrate on your own. And HellRaisers have put themselves with great play in great position to move on out of this group. I believe what I could be wrong. Actually, I won't put words in their mouth, so we'll just leave it there. Great nade, Glaive down to 2 HP. That's not a fun way to start the round. As if having a Glock and no armor wasn't enough.
98 health in damage.
What did you say yesterday? He caught the nade with his forehead?
Pretty much. Tried to head it away, but it exploded on impact. And now Astralis, they're just pretty much into a forced-up rush, and they're hoping that they can just overwhelm Woxic with sheer manpower. But he is up to the task, and he's going to pick up another one. He actually legged him, I think, with the no-scope in the end, but Astralis don't get a single kill out the round.
How did he survive that? That's quite nice that he gets away. Astralis not able to take him down, and the backup arrives just at the right moment. 5-1 now for HellRaisers. This is a map that at one point was dominant. It was a scary affair to face Astralis on this map. It's kind of lessened in that sense for them over the past few months. We've seen them stumble on it a number of times. HellRaisers early on taking it to them. No one messing whatsoever with Playground on the Astralis side. Double nade goes deep. Glaive eats some damage early on again. Woxic misses a shot. It gives control of short sewers over to Astralis if they want it. And Dupree is now pushed out towards Playground and Fountain, so he knows no one's pushed, but here's a nice boost.
Woxic just peering up. They also have Fates, who is watching Monster, just to make sure that there was going to be no shenanigans from the backside and a free couple kills, but with Astralis low on Glaive, the other thing that will be in the back of their minds as well, they were in almost an identical position a few rounds prior, and they went down to about 15 to 20 seconds before they engaged. I would hope that they are going to speed things up a little bit this time.
You would absolutely hope so, because remember, they didn't get the plant down in time in a one-on-one, which was brutal. We'll see how this goes, reconvening back towards bathroom. Smoke is up at the moment, allowing Caribou to get close up. It's going to fade shortly. Dead Fox is sitting right behind it. And here they are, they're going to push in, they're going to try and make this attack happen. Gain some map control. Dead Fox has found his timing, though, and he's going to get one kill. That's nice. Now he needs to survive, and Dupree wrapping around. He gets that as well. More pressure coming, and he's going to get taken down. He's traded quickly.
This puts a lot of pressure on Woxic, though. He's all by himself, and he's missed the first shot. With the smoke now landing, Astralis seem like they just want to go ahead and rotate to B, and it has drawn out the rotation of Issa.
Drawn out the rotation of 2 players. He's back just in time. There's a good clothesline. Stops him from getting in. A nice trade from Zipnix. Woxic and Issa now need to make it over. Oh, that's dirty. Issa can actually pin him down into the bomb site. If he can hold him here, it's going to be great for Woxic, but Kirby fights his way out in a retreat, and there's a beautiful response. Into a one-on-one. It's the AWP versus the AK of Kirby, who's been stellar for Astralis today.
Woxic does have a kit, and he's just traded to an M4. So he's going to be better when it comes to those spraying engagements. But Kirby, he's snuck his way all the way around into short side. Woxic won't know what's hit him. Oh, will he? Lands the shot anyway and earns himself the clutch with the defuse. And Astralis have let another round go begging.
That's super nice. I mean, Woxic clears out everything, and I think Kirby had him fooled. It was really nice movement. I was surprised, as you were as well, to see Woxic just kind of crouch clear that angle. Great awareness by a young player. Young Guns performing very, very well for HellRaisers so far, and Zonic having some words with his team. This Astralis squad today has come out flat, if you look back to Mirage as well.
I mean, this is kind of the reverse of what we saw against North last night. Another Danish team comes out, a lot of expectancy, doesn't deliver. Now Astralis, they are feeling the pinch. They are into a situation where probably a half buy is most likely going to come out with pistols and Kevlar. HellRaisers have 10k on Woxic. They've got a whole bunch of money across the board. That is going to hurt them, though. It was 4 players that they lost last round, so they're going to have to replenish a lot of weapons, but they're in great shape on the CT side right now.
Yes, they're going to be very, very happy. I mean, obviously, not as much money as they would like building up, considering they've won 4 in a row, but you can't argue with the scoreline in the end. Look at this, right through the smoke. Angel looking straight down. Oh, he misses the sound initially, but he turns in the right moment. Woxic bails him out with that first kill. And they've cut Astralis in half. That's something Astralis needs to really focus on as well. And a Mirage was the fact that FaZe was able to get so much mid control. Here, HellRaisers is being very aggressive towards Fountain, towards Party. If you're Astralis and you focus on that, and you can at least you have the opportunity to pick off 1 or 2 players from HellRaisers there early on. But you definitely can't let them control it and kind of dictate how that action works out in that part of the map for the entire half.
What was really cool as well, and you highlighted it, Angel looking down, it doesn't seem like much, but one, it mitigates the flash as much, and secondly, and most importantly, with the M4A1S, your barrel is longer, so he's making sure his barrel doesn't stick out the smoke and he doesn't get seen earlier. There's actually a really cool little mechanic that he utilized there, so anyone at home, keep that in mind.
Well, this is so tough for Dead Fox. He's alone now, his teammates backed off, so it's all about timing. There's the peak. Glaive's not ready. He was reloading. Can he get a second one? He's done the damage and he does find it. He's going to die here. Surely to Dupree. That's 2 big kills. And now Woxic, with the space that he created, he's pushing up. He wants more. Flash out from Zipnix to blind that position. He's going to go for the peak to flick over. Can't land it. So it's been equalized. An advantage provided by Dead Fox is now given away, and looks like Angel could be next. But oh, what a response from Dupree. He looks away, but the flick back is gorgeous.
Just having flashbacks to Blast Pro series for a second there with Dupree. That was exquisite. And it started so well for HellRaisers. They had the early aggression from Dead Fox, that hunter-killer drone that just went straight up into the face of Astralis, and now suddenly they're up the creek without a paddle, although Issa does have a fantastic position if they push down, but it looks like they're going to dodge any adversity for the time being.
I think that's just out of his hearing as well. Dupree's over at A, which is... There's one defender, and I believe Zipnix and Rubino over towards the B bomb site. Dupree, I think, is just going to be a distraction. Actually, no, he's going to be the platform. Still, they haven't been able to hear anything, and he's going to get into the site. He finds the pick. That's a great duel to win, and it's all down to this flank. Issa can still ruin this round for Astralis, but he takes the long route, and as time is dwindling, Astralis is going to get the plant here.
Yeah, and this is in no place to contest this. He's hoping for maybe an exit kill, and they could bait him into trying to clutch this. In terms of their funds as well, as he is going to get into a competition with Zipnix, so it doesn't really matter, but I was going to say that in terms of their funds, it's not looking particularly great either. They can go for another buy, but of course, on the CT side, it is such a cruel mistress at times that you want to save as many weapons as you can.
I think that previous round, HellRaisers might be getting ahead of themselves with the big scoreline and with some clutch wins and everything. Not to harp on it too much, that follow. Dead Fox gets the opening 2 kills. I think Woxic at that point, you just need to give up the aggression when you're all alone. No reason to allow it to go back into a 3-on-3. Make him earn that.
Totally agree, because you could see what happened. As soon as he went down, it split the defense that much more and allowed Astralis to start to probe the weaknesses.
Oh, yeah, because well, the rest of us, HellRaisers, was pretty passive across the map, so it gave over a lot of territory. Regardless, I think that might just be nitpicking at a certain point, but I don't think Dead Fox has any idea that they're already here. He's turned around at the right moment. Glaive's going to swing out wide. That's a good pick off again. No support there for Dead Fox. It's just Woxic out towards long. Flashbang going to force him back. He does have Angel returning to his side now. This would be a huge round for Woxic to find them an equalizing kill. No pressure towards B quite yet, and he just missed the timing. I don't even think he spotted the shoulder. There's the jump out, though, so they now know where Woxic is. They know where the AWP is located.
They have information, but they've yet to get a solid footing towards the A site. And info will only go so far. They have no one over on the B side either, so they don't know how many players may have rotated across to A. Woxic, pretty sure he did just spot the player hopping up, which is Dupree, who's lost his life now forfeit. Never really gained too much from this Astralis. They're really going to be trying to dip into the last few moments of their time allocated. But with the headshot onto Angel, it's going to force him to play a more passive angle, allowing Issa to get round the back of them. Bomb salvageable. They will relinquish their aggression on A for the time being, Astralis, and they're making a beeline for the B side of the map now.
Yeah, Fates has to get back. He's here. He thought that was a flashbang. A good turn, a good spin. But Astralis in a great position to string 2 together. I think Angel is just giving this up with the AWP. HellRaisers is out of money. We've mentioned it a couple times. Well, Woxic will be able to... Oh, no, he's just throwing the op away.
Is there a second?
Was that a gun? Yeah, he has an op in his hand. So.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, 7-2, 7-3 is going to be the scoreline coming up as Angel kind of gives away this round. Doesn't want to fight for it. Money's still like great on Astralis. I think HellRaisers might be able to buy if they want to scramble something together. Angel can drop an M4. Woxic will be able to get a UMP or a FAMAS. It'll be the rest of them who are kind of relegated to pistols.
I guess it's whether they feel pressured with such a buffer of rounds. They're going to have a 4-round lead. And if that bye were to go awry, then ultimately Astralis could get round to about 2 rounds behind them. So I think that's what the tactical pause is called for now. Like, is the risk versus reward? If we win, we absolutely wreck Astralis in terms of their momentum, their mentality. If we lose,
yeah, we wreck ourselves.
Then we wreck ourselves hardcore. So I feel like when you're ahead 4 rounds, you play it safe.
Yeah, well, I mean, no reason not to. The defenses look good, all things considered, when they've had the money, just outside of a couple, maybe few questionable individual decisions, but you can't argue with where they're at in this game so far. So they've looked solid. They need to get something going with the young guys to get back into the game. Astralis, though, if they're able to get this third, if they're able to really solidify this and start moving forward, stringing rounds together, that'd be great for them. It looks like HellRaisers isn't going to buy up into this.
No.
So choosing to play it conservative.
Yeah, Angel dropped the AWP to Woxic. Woxic picked up Headless Armor, and then Angel just picked up a CZ with some utility. So it's super low investment into this. And Woxic was on about 3 to 4k, so it doesn't really hurt him going forward for the next round either.
And this is also where you just unleash Woxic, unleash the young talent. Just say, you do the buddy system, Dead Fox is with him, and you just say you do whatever you feel you want. He had a good peek towards mid, doesn't land anything, a flashbang back, great utility from Astralis. He's now rotated, and this B hit is on. This would be a great kill to get to delay things, and he does find it. There's Zipnix with the trade, and Woxic is here with the op. He can do more, but he's down to 30 HP. Needs some teammates to take attention away. And Astralis hits the pause button.
Yeah, fortunately on the side of HellRaisers, they actually stacked the site with the weapons that was being aggressed on from Astralis. This is going to get interesting with Angel's CZ up close now. Dupree and Glaive have smokes to cover them for the time being, but soon they will wear thin, but Glaive spraying through the smoke will connect a couple shots on Woxic, 2-on-2.
That's a big kill. That's a bigger kill. A follow-up as well. Dupree gets the trade. And Angel's still here. He's got a kit, he's got armor, and he's got the CZ, and he can pick up an AK-47, obviously. So this couldn't have turned out any better for HellRaisers. Does Angel read this in time? He is going to get over towards the bomb site, but Dupree is faking him out.
Yeah, even had the sound cues of running as well, just to fully fake it. But Angel, he's been around the block a few times. He's not fallen for it. None of these shenanigans today for him. He's gotten himself into a position as well where he has the quickest rotation to both sides. He's not actually fully investing on either, but he's going to be in prime position to strike on Dupree as soon as he comes off the bomb. He's done some negligible damage through the box to start off with. Dupree shadow is showing, an Angel trying to pre-fire, preemptively take him out of the equation, and finally connects the headshot. And that's a round that Astralis were facing off against an AWP and a CZ, and they've conceded.
That shadow almost threw Angel off a couple times, but a brilliant 1v1 clutch, yes. I mean, great play from HellRaisers. Astralis even hitting the pause button and just waiting to see the response, and HellRaisers buys him enough time to get into the position, aggressively rotating over towards B. Astralis is going to be kicking himself for that one, and because it was a save, essentially, HellRaisers' money has just ballooned very quickly. This is going to be a strong buy right off the bat, despite it being a 1 versus 1. Woxic again with the AWP picked up by Angel there at the end. And a chance for HellRaisers to make this a very strong half.
Whatever happens, they'll be just slightly ahead of Astralis. We'll have to see how far that distance will grow as time goes on. Decent buy for Astralis, going to look for a boost, and they've just spotted Angel, and they also saw Fates and Kia B. That is a sensational one-tap to the back of Fates' head, opening up B with surgical precision, and now Issa needs some reinforcements, and he needs them fast.
That's super nice from Caribbean. He has come to play today. Thank God someone did. Issa's got a decision to make. Does he push? Zipnix, the cyborg, waiting for him with that CZ. He's read this perfectly, and it's going to be an easy kill.
Just knows calculating probabilities of a player pushing monster. And now very much split up as well, HellRaisers. It's not as if they're clumped together and they can try and save if things go wrong. They are on islands by each other. And somehow Woxic survives. I'm not sure if he'll be able to scamper off the site, and even if he does, there's actually going to be Dupree waiting for him with embracing arms. And there we have it. Dead Fox, good luck to you. Well, there's the first. It's at least going to make this a little bit more costly for Astralis.
And HellRaisers that round just got read perfectly by Astralis. Once they get, that's the danger. I mean, the great opening picks from KRB, obviously, but once Astralis gets these picks, you can really see the brilliance of this team and how they play as a unit. Just everyone kind of covering each other. You had, I forget who it was in the stairs by Fountain, just waiting for that play in bathrooms. Someone, Roxic, trying to wrap behind him with the AWP, watching for that perfectly. Zipnix watching for the push-out monster, the response to losing 2 players. That's where you really get to see the genius of Astralis. They need more of it. 8-4. And Angel alone with the M4. Oh, the follow-up flashbang is brutal. They line up for him. He gets a dink, but he cannot complete the kill. KRB again with an opening.
This was a force as well, so if HellRaisers were to lose, then Astralis can really start to bridge that gap. It has been built away from them. Zipnix will not miss out on his opportunity. May not expect his second player to be in here, though. That's going to be Woxic playing super up close and with the AWP. There's one, looking to get a second. Zipnix. I thought for a moment there that he'd missed his chance and Woxic was going to no-scope him, but he does finally get the man down. And Issa and Fates with CZs. Fates in which is in bathrooms, and I believe he's heard a few footsteps. But he is going to get Kirby. We'll be able to retrieve the AK-47 as well. See if he can use it against the terrorists. Not going to happen.
That's a tough position to be in, almost making it work. And Zipnix at the moment just being the rock for Astralis, spinning around and watching all the flanks. Looks like he has a choice if he wants to go for this, and I think saving the AWP is the right one. Like you said, this is a force buy, so at least have some weapon that you can, that allows you to present danger to Astralis into the next round. But it'll be a 5th. Astralis clawing themselves back into this match, and they've now got a firm grip of the situation.
And Zipnix, who was really struggling against FaZe, now top fragging 14-8. Woxic just behind him. It wouldn't surprise me if Issa just goes ahead and drops the AWP to Woxic. He is a real talent with this gun.
Well, don't speak too soon. Zipnix is on the hunt.
True. I am just assuming he's going to be able to save this AWP, of course. Zipnix is going to die, and there's no one close enough. So he will save and get an extra kill. So he could drop the AWP to like Woxic, keep the CZ, have a glass cannon Woxic, seeing what he can get done.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even invest in armor if he really wanted to, because this is going to be a double save. Tactical pause here from HellRaisers. Trying to figure things out. Had a good start to the half. It was 7-1, now 8-5, so 4-1 run for Astralis. They've done a great job of now starting to get some opening picks and really, really exploiting rotations. Something we didn't see when this started out. It was all HellRaisers, so finally Astralis coming alive. Better late than never. Still have a chance here to take this match away as this gap closes.
Yeah, similar situation as well to their last pause when they were figuring out if they were going to force or if they were just going to drop across. And as you said, Woxic has invested in a bit of armor. He's got given the AWP across from Issa, who's just going to run with the CZ. And this actually was the exact same composition of weaponry, almost to the T, that beat Astralis the last time they pushed B. So we know that HellRaisers have done it before. Can lightning strike twice?
Doesn't appear likely. It's all about what time they call a rotation over towards the A site. The tough part is you want to get Woxic involved. At the moment, they're using him to gain control and gain information with this kind of an aggressive play towards short sewers. He's going to see absolutely nothing. The rest of his teammates are rotating, but still, it's some pistols. No, not even really a whole lot of utility. Issa has some. Doors opened. Zipnix walks right into it. Oh, can Woxic get away, though? He gets spammed out of 25. Now they're just going to hit towards the A bomb site. They're going to do this quickly, I would imagine. Angel and Dead Fox here, they need to delay as long as possible.
Dead Fox, unfortunately, has a USP, but Angel is a little bit more stacked with his Desert Eagle. Not going to connect on that time. And they have taken a lot of time away here. Now Woxic has got into position. This is going to start to get more interesting. Although Issa's fallen down, Angel is still able to put bullets through the smoke. Woxic has burnt to a crisp though, but Fates will take down the AWP for himself. But Astralis, now that they've got the bomb planted and darted back into safe positions, you have to feel this is where the round turns in their favor.
Yeah, it should. That wall of smoke was perfect. Allows them to get the plant, allows them to retreat. That missed shot, Fates is going to grab the angle. That's a good kill. Second person there, Glaive's got to connect these shots, and he gets one. Here comes Fates slowly crouching out. The pre-fire doesn't work, and it's all down to Rubino. Fates has no armor, no kit, and I think he just gives this one up. They've done some damage. Can't get away with the win. Rubino wants to take this op out of his hands for good reason as well. It'd be a great find. He's going to chase it down at the end here. Fades behind the tree, lands the shot.
It was worth the chase as well. There's only one more round left now, and there's enough money for Astralis to just go for a full-on buy. So, yeah, I mean, as you highlighted, taking that AWP away from HellRaisers would have been a really nice grab, because they may have been able to afford an AWP, but it would have been Glass Cannon. Now, as it stands, Woxic can actually get some nades. He's got armor. Everyone has assault rifles. So you can understand why Rubino went headfirst into that, even though he ended up dying.
It's a great call. I mean, you have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain. So either way, Astralis is going to be so happy with how they've turned this match around. Getting punched in the mouth early, but they've recovered. 6-8, Astralis trying to claw that even closer. Woxic waiting for a flash. That would indicate someone's going to turn that corner. It's not forthcoming, and Zipmix all on his own towards the B bomb site. Deals a bit of damage onto Issa, forces back the aggression.
Astralis just trying to play slow, try and draw out as much utility as they possibly can. HellRaisers not really with that much. Now taking connector control, see a very central focal point of the map, allows them to spin off onto the B side. There are 3 players stacked there for HellRaisers though. This could be walking into a trap, and it looks like they're gonna be running as opposed to walking. That Molotov actually could end up saving them some bloodshed, because they've decided to hold off for a little bit longer.
They go forward now. Angel peeks out with the FAMAS. He's got their attention. There's Issa with one. Angel peeks out, grabs the other. Low HP player for him to follow up on, and the defense holds strong. Zipnik's coming through the smoke, cannot get anything done, and finally HellRaisers get another round on the board. It had been a 5-1 run up until that point. It's going to end up 9-6 for HellRaisers off the back of a dominant start and a really strong performance from the Young Stars. Great showing from them. They continue stellar play here in the group stage. We'll see if Astralis can complete this comeback, or if HellRaisers is going to continue to surprise here after the break. Stay tuned. Astralis had to claw their way back into that game after a hot start from HellRaisers, but they cooled them off eventually and grabbed a pretty good run at the end. It's 9-6 first half for HellRaisers, and Astralis now switches over to defense.
Yeah, I mean, Astralis certainly were seeing stars at the start of that. You know, the flurry of a combo that HellRaisers connected on them, you started to worry. You started to think, okay, is this going to be them getting battered 2 maps in a row? Yeah. But as you said, they cooled HellRaisers off a little bit. They started to get in their own groove. They started to dictate the pace of the action, slow things down, speed it up, and here we are. If they win this pistol, game is well and truly back on.
One of the crazy things is actually, even in the stretch that HellRaisers was, I think it was 7-1 or something like that, it even looked like Astralis was doing a very good job. There was the round where they had a really solid execute and they just ran out of time in a one-on-one. There was the clutch by Woxic as well. I believe that was a 1-on-2. So just a couple small things that could have actually made that a half in the favor of Astralis. It doesn't work out their way, obviously. Aggression from Xyp9x and Glaive at the B bomb site to at least try and find information, but I don't think they spotted anything. There's this a close-up, and Glaive's out in the open. He's flashed back. Both in water, and they've got to hold this off. Glaive trying to get out. He's completely blind. Oh, and he runs into a corner. He's a goner. Xyp9x is the only one here. That would be a great kill to find, and he gets it for now, trying to get a second, but Woxic cleans him out.
Yeah, you've got to feel bad for Glaive there, but now it's up to the rest of Astralis to try and pick up the pieces. It's going to be a pretty one-dimensional retake, though. Just Kirby in a different angle from heaven. The rest of his team trying to come through on the graffiti side. He spots Woxic. He hasn't seen Issa, though, but Rubino certainly has, and will dispatch him with a perfect headshot. Woxic in a scrap to the death is somehow going to survive a little bit longer and takes down a second kill. That is madness. He should not be alive, let alone get 2 frags from that position and a 3rd overall. And now Kirby just doesn't have the time. There's nothing he can do in this round other than take Woxic with him.
I'm not even sure how, not only Woxic surviving, the fact that he's able to reload, he has the time to reload and even, then get another kill on top of that. Craziness. So Astralis not hitting a whole lot of clean shots and not able to trade it out in that retake. This position, this water position is so strong. Remember, we saw Dupree in this position in the pistol round of the first half, and that's what made the clutch from Issa so impressive, was that he's able to clear Dupree out of this spot.
The problem there is that Rubino, you could see that Woxic had 20 health left, and Rubino only hit him 1 time out of 3 or 4 shots, and it only took 16 off him, so he was able to survive. And who knows, if Rubino gets that kill, maybe the retake's a possibility, but that's all in the past. On the here and now, HellRaisers with a decent buy have lost the first player. Xyp9x on the boost. That CZ is going to shred, and well, HellRaisers now in good position to strike on the monster side.
What a nasty angle that was from Xyp9x. The CZs, the crossfires doing work. There's not even a whole lot of armor on this Astralis side, and jumping through, Xyp9x surprises Angel. This is very, very doable for the Danes, and they've got it into a 3-on-1. It's just Woxic. He's been great, but Dupree's going to find him through the wall. And HellRaisers with a fast-paced second round, an anti-force buy are going to drop one.
It started so well for Astralis with Xyp9x getting that opening pick, and it's almost like HellRaisers at that point, like the red mist descended and they just went into a frenzy and just tried to force around. It was like, you take one of our players down, we're going to teach you, and they just walked into a massive trap.
Bloodthirsty, right? They just keep pushing forward. Well, they get punished for it. It's an investment into this round from HellRaisers. Deagle CZ's armor, and actually they have a chance here. Glaive is pushing up close, and they're not ready for it. And it's a 3-for-1 trade for Astralis. They're going to take that, and Rubino adds a little bit more pain and suffering to the HellRaisers side, so it should be an 8th for Astralis. And it'll have to be a save for HellRaisers.
But taking any other players out the equation now for Fates would be, I was going to say, a pretty solid round for HellRaisers. Won't be happening, as it would have actually alleviated one of these rifles. And 3 replenished weapons is always going to be a pain for the CTs, but he wasn't able to get it. HellRaisers, maybe Fates can get like a P250, maybe Woxic might think about P250, although obviously he wants to save towards that AWP anyway.
Well, we're going to see now, because with Astralis responding after that pistol round loss, now we get to see this is going to be a challenging half for HellRaisers. They're not going to be able to just, kind of win one and get an economic reset and kind of breeze up to 14, 15 rounds. This is going to have to be a grind if HellRaisers wants to win 6 in the second half. It's not going to be easy, so we'll see everything Angel has prepared. I think Yanko said on the desk that they'd had good T-sides throughout this event. Rubino's about to have a field day. Maybe not. It looked like it was likely, but not as much as I thought. Dupree's going to clean things out. Rubino ends up only getting 1.
Yeah, because it's almost like a can of sardines in connector there for HellRaisers. They were just encircled by bullets as they're getting riddled through the walls. But Astralis now have brought it back to a 1-round deficit, which when you consider at one stage this was 7-1 in favor of HellRaisers in that first half. It's not bad at all.
Not too shabby, I believe is the phrase. Smoke towards the B site. Again, this is so fast-paced. This is essentially a rush, and actually Glaive, he's not even ready for it. No one slowed down on the HellRaisers side, which I don't think Astralis expected whatsoever. They're already in the site getting planted, and they've already made great progress.
That's the kind of round that Chad and Yanko are watching and they're excited about, because that wall of smokes was perfect. Like, Glaive was just on an island by himself. He couldn't have anyone helping him out. They're all stuck on graffiti behind smoke. And now Dead Fox is just in prime position to clean house. Rubino and Kirby both been alleviated. And at this point, Dupree and Zipnix just need to get the hell out of there.
The speed of that is absolute insanity. Great little uppercut from HellRaisers there. I think it was JW who gave the interview yesterday that said HellRaisers plays so differently than anyone that we like kind of face that it's kind of hard to read. It's hard to kind of understand what's coming. Good couple kills at the end for Astralis, but Zipnix does get taken down, so another rebuy going to be forced out. That's great for the economy situation in terms of HellRaisers. Astralis basically completely invested into this round. Only Rubino over $1,000. A lot of B focus here for HellRaisers early on.
Curious how Astralis will adapt to that. Will they start to throw incendiaries early into Monster, maybe a smoke, maybe expend some utility just off the terror of that potentially happening? Or will they play aggressively on the other side of the map and make sure they have all the angles covered? But it is going to be a different take on the same idea, and that is just ruthless aggression onto B. Dead Fox has already got one, and he's going to pick up Zipnix as well.
Dead Fox has got 5 kills in these past 2 rounds at the B bomb site. So you want to talk about someone who's really, really putting in a lot of work for his team, it'd be him. And again, Glaive gets caught off guard. Not this time, not by the speed. It's the fact that I think Dead Fox went through a smoke, and he was not ready for that whatsoever. All HellRaisers has to do here is not give up an easy kill before Astralis commits to this retake. They are surrounded, KRB closing in, but time is dwindling, and they have 1 kid on Rubino, and I think they've made the save call now.
Yeah, it's looking like exits. Ooh, Kirby will be disappointed he didn't get a kill out of that trade. Not just because he really should be, but also now that's going to put Astralis into a much weaker buy if they do go for it next round. In actual fact, that lost weapon could be the difference between them going for a buy and not. Because they're in a position now where they can maybe drop like UMPs, but not much else.
This is going to be a tough call if they want to go for it or not. I think you're right. I think they're going to play it conservative and save. But they're letting HellRaisers widen the gap in the score if they choose to go that route. Because at least, you know, they have an AWP, they have an M4, they have 2 weapons they can buy behind. You have some danger, you have some teeth to this defense. Tactical pause coming out for Astralis as they make their decision. This hasn't even been, this has not been a fancy T side from HellRaisers to open things up. I think they've hit the B bomb site like 3 or 4 rounds out of the, you know, the 6 we've had so far in this half. And Astralis just not able to stop it for whatever reason.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like quoting James Bardolph or something, you know, with his analogies of food and whatnot, but it's just been kind of meat and potatoes, terrorist side. It's just been simple, solid, filling, wholesome. Damn.
I was gonna say if you're gonna open a sentence with it, to quote Bardolph's food references,
it has to end with Dan, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to end with Dan. It's a parfait.
But it has been no frills. It's just been really solid T-halves, just pushing aggressively. They're going to mix it up this round, though. Doesn't look like B's on the table just yet. Rubino is, though.
Wow. I'm surprised this had just crouched and waited for that kind of a play. Utility into bank. Zipnix is here with a pistol. Angel going to turn the corner. He's only got a CZ, so he's just kind of a scout. Some good damage being done. All the utility in the favor of HellRaisers, so they can play this patiently. Dead Fox is just going to get all the kills. And Dupree, bailing out, going home, wants to keep that op alive.
If nothing else, this is entertaining to watch by HellRaisers. I mean, they are not messing about. They're not waiting around for anything, you know, too dull. They're just going all in.
Feels like they want to go back to the hotel and just chill.
Yeah, exactly. They want this over. They want the 10 points.
Let's go see Odense. Odense.
I have no idea.
I watched Andrew's video like 10 times last night just because he looked ridiculous. But
that's the thing. If this truly was a simulation and I was Anders' clone, I would be able to pronounce it, and I definitely can't. So that's my proof that I'm not actually his clone.
That's the best argument I've heard to why we're living in reality. Dead Fox is having an amazing T side, 18-12. I think he's up to. I mean, he had 5 kills at the B bomb site in 2 rounds to open things up, and I think there he had 4 kills. So just 9 in the past 4 or 5 rounds total. It's not bad. 13-9. Here's the buy. No AWP for Astralis. 5 M4s.
Yeah, I think they'll just be scared that everything's been so fast. Are you even going to get the opportunity to use a glass cannon up? Or are HellRaisers going to be on your face before you even realize it? This does afford them a few more nades as well.
That's a very good point. With this kind of a pace, with the way that they've been getting into bomb sites, the op is almost will backfire on you if you're not at the site that's being hit. And obviously you want some smoke, a Molotov to slow things down, but we've also seen that doesn't even necessarily matter to this HellRaisers team whatsoever.
Like the change of pace though, almost saying to Astralis, look, you need information, come to us. Dangling that carrot in front of them and hoping that the trap will be sprung. Angel, he's still looking towards the angle. Rubino's going to fall again in bathroom, almost the exact same position he died last round. And now HellRaisers again have the player advantage. Zipnix, if he falls, this could be the round done, but he's going to hold his ground.
Zipnix knows the angles just too well. The crazy thing is, even with that change of pace, even though it goes slow, one of the great things that can do with how much success HellRaisers has had going fast is it can force Astralis to use a lot of smokes and Molotovs and flashbangs early on to stop that kind of a fast-paced play. It didn't, though. They didn't use any of that. They still had plenty of smokes pretty late into that round. Great pick from Woxic. He's taken a lot of damage. He might have to pass that bomb over to Fates. Smokes out in the bomb site. Glaive going to jump down in towards water, trying to make a play here. They're waiting for it, but it's Caribou who gets the kill. There's the trade. A 1-on-2 for the in-game leader, and Woxic solo. Good kill found, and that flashbang. I think it was Woxic, and now Dead Fox is in a really tough spot. 10 seconds as well.
Glaive has played this perfectly up until this point. He also has the bomb control. Just has to bide his time. Wait for the time to do its job, but it's going to go down to the last second, and he does get the clutch, but it all started off so well. I love the underarm smoke that he threw towards the barrels. It allowed him to only focus on one angle, knowing that it was very unlikely someone would push that smoke at that stage. And that really set up the clutch. I love that play.
And then from there, it's just biding your time. It's not committing to fight as the clock is running down. You know eventually that Angel's going to have to put himself in a disadvantaged position just to try and chase that kill down before time runs out. Still, it came down to a 1 versus 1, and now Astralis, they are forced out of 2 UMPs and a FAMAS, but they have great nades.
Sure do. And, well, HellRaisers going back to their tried, tested, and true strats that have been working. Angel is going to limp out of that fight with 13 health, but he is still alive with his AK. And they still have 3 Molotovs of their own. HellRaisers not out of this just yet, Jason.
Yeah, but they're going to push the issue as they've done this whole half, and now it's working great for Astralis. They held it off, and Glaive with 3 straight kills, Zipnix with 3 straight assists as well.
Astralis, okay, welcome back. You had us worried for a map and a half or so, but seems like you're here to stay.
I mean, now they're meeting these fast attacks head on, aren't they? I mean, you can see they're battling in short sewers, they're getting a kill, they're doing some damage, and then, you know, reconvening towards Monster, and they have great crossfires set up, and they're getting in a nice position. So they seem to have figured some things out. Also, as you mentioned earlier, not going for an AWP. They haven't had great money for it, but sticking with the 5 rifles.
Yeah, trying to fight the fire with fire of how fast these rounds have been. The assault rifle is just so versatile. Obviously, in every kind of distance, it can be prolific. Up, not so much. It's very susceptible to being overrun, especially in situations like this. Obviously, they wouldn't replenish one of these weapons, and they can't afford an AWP anyway. But even if they could, they just stick with this. I mean, there's a real hope and a real chance for HellRaisers to go for some kind of a half buy. Maybe even Issa could drop a few weapons.
I think you still, if you're HellRaisers with this kind of a lead, I mean, if you can drop some pistols, that'd be fine, but you don't necessarily want to do a whole lot. I don't want to risk too much. So I'm going to give Henry G a shout out and help him out a little bit. He's been calling this the tactical buy, the 1 AK purchase for someone in a round. So give him a little bit of love as he tries to start a new fab.
They took a long time, though. I mean, they've even ate into their round time, and they were back at spawn still buying CZ, so They're clearly just wanting to slow things down. They weren't entirely sure what they wanted to bring into this round.
Yes. I mean, maybe deciding how much, what exactly they want instead of drop, and they just decide to go with the AK. And I think the idea behind this isn't necessarily to win the round. They want him to be able to bait his CZ and use that AK-47 to get 2 to 3 kills. At this stage in the game, if HellRaisers is able to shatter the economy of Astralis at any point, it's essentially a win there. Because they'd be at 14 rounds, and Astralis would be having to force buy or half buy the rest of them. Here's a nice long setup from Astralis. Good trade. Great trade from Missa. That works out perfectly. Dead Fox sacrifices himself. Now can line up the smoke, and Angel's made progress trying to wrap around dupreeh, and he finds that as well. This is going to get scary now for Astralis. This is going perfectly for HellRaisers.
Yeah, because of that kill on long, Kirby was forced to look up there, and that's ultimately what the dupreeh killed. Kirby now able to come back in with more. As there is the shaky aim that we've come to know and love. Doesn't quite connect on this time of asking. 33 seconds left. They have the bomb, but they don't have any utility to burst in the site with. They do, however, have a FAMAS from the corpse of dupreeh. And it's going to be Angel that's going to try and come in and claim that first frag. There's a lot of angles that he has to watch out for, and that's where it really hurts not having a smoke to at least lock off one of them. Fates can't find the FAMAS. He's going to be running with a CZ for the time being. 10 seconds. Got it finally now. But doesn't get caught from the side. And Astralis have dodged. Well, they've dodged a nuke there, because to be honest, had they have lost that, as you said, that could have been the map over.
Yeah, they did get clipped a little bit. 3 losses is not great. Still not able to build up a whole lot of money. Now they've got the AWP back in dupreeh's hands. I think that went so well for HellRaisers, they got lured into going for the victory with a play through the smoke by Izza. He did have a pop flash, but it did not work as well as intended. Now the aggression. Astralis. Kirby's going to peek up the stairs towards Fountain, towards T-Choke Point. Going to find nothing. This is a slowed down round from HellRaisers. 13 to 12 as we head into the last stages of the group stage.
Yeah, this match and this group truly on a razor's edge at this stage. And one mistake could straight up cost a team this entire map. Again, if Astralis were to win it in regulation, that would be 4 teams on 7 points. Obviously, there's going to be another game being played elsewhere right now. dupreeh does miss his chance, albeit it was a pretty slim hope of him landing it.
Because he missed that, though, Rubino's on his own. This is going to be tough. He dodges the flashbang, gets that kill, gets the second as well. Big play from the stand-in.
And only lost 27 health, so he's okay to stand and trade for longer. He's going to pick up a third. So much damage done. Rubino take a bow. That could be the moment where Astralis win this round at the very least. Fates and Woxic backs against the wall. No real hopes of getting too much done unless they can get a kill and get it quick. And Fates could be the man for the task or not. Kirby using that bench to just skew with the headshot angle. And Woxic, he's a dead man too. Astralis, they have well and truly forced their way back into this map.
Feels like Astralis at some point had the conversation that's just like, all right, guys, HellRaisers is going to be coming through smokes. They're going to attack smokes. They're not going to care about that whatsoever, so always be prepared. Gun out at all times, and that's kind of shifted the tides of this match. There doesn't seem to be, after HellRaisers kind of got those initial shock rounds, they don't seem to have a whole lot to fall back on now that Astralis has figured it out. 13-13, back onto CZ, some armor. dupreeh blinded up. He does take a shot. Can he get away in time? Yes. Rubino's blind though for the support. He's getting surrounded. He gets nothing done. dupreeh's got to go all the way back to the bomb site. And HellRaisers isn't slowing down whatsoever. They're not going to stop for anything, it looks like.
Yeah, they can sense that with that first pick, things are going to get a bit awkward. And Kirby, who moved into Connector just to try and get some information for his team, has now died. So is Glaive. dupreeh's the only player for Astralis that's landed anything. And it will be a 4v2 against Astralis with Zipnix up in heaven, seeing if he can dispatch of some terrorists before they get to the site. His timing on the jump, not fantastic, nearly cost him his life. But he's just trying to get up close. He's trying to get something done with aggression. Issa onto dupreeh. This round should be over. Just 7 health remains for Zipnix. He's got 1. He does have a kit, but he has no idea as to where the second player is, and Fates will silence him, and that is absolutely brutal for Astralis. They've got enough to buy, but HellRaisers is now in pole position.
So incredible they make that work. Just 1 kill onto Rubino, who gets surrounded in the stairs. and they gained so much ground. Dead Fox walked the whole way up long and caught Glaive snoozing, already trying to cheat on the rotate over. I think the hectic nature of that round, this is where when players talk about HellRaisers and not knowing what to expect when you play against them, this is part of it, because there's so much communication going out and you're trying to process all of it of where it's being attacked, and you can't play as much by feel. You have to have that communication. I think Glaive just kind of got lost in all of it. No one had eyes on long that whole time. 14-13. Big swings, and you can see the beat-up nature of Astralis' money. Rubino on a UMP, so is Zipnix, and Glaive on the MP9. Almost feels like sacrificing cheating an M4 just so they can have the nades to slow down HellRaisers.
Absolutely. I think if they were playing against a slower-paced team on Overpass, you see more M4s in play here.
Yeah.
For sure. But they need the extra incendiaries, they need the extra smokes, and they've already gone through a fair amount of them. Just to stop that initial push. It's going to be a 3-player stack on B, with Glaive going back towards the A site now.
Nice job by Fates, though, not getting caught out. Aggression from Astralis towards the B bomb site. He sees it coming and doesn't take the fight, just falls all the way back. Doesn't get caught unaware.
HellRaisers making sure there's no double stack on long, which Astralis have used once before. Now they're starting to make inroads up long and also mid. Astralis still retain an incendiary and a smoke, and you feel like they may be valuable assets.
Dupree and Caribbean have a great stack over towards Stairwell just to guard the B bomb site and the stairs. So they can see both, so this is allowing Astralis to cheat 3 players dedicated to that A bomb site, which is a great call. And since they haven't seen any pressure, no reason to bust it up, and they'll have a fast flank as well if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, Kirby can see interconnected, the other player can see through the short tunnels. Eventual monster isn't being poked, but here comes Woxic. Rubino, he has to just stay in position now. If he moves, he will die. But they're going to check him anyway. As soon as that first player dies, it pretty much sends his death warrant in as well. Zipnix with a USP of all weapons. He just can't trade across for the time being. And Kirby gets caught in the side. It's complete devastation. There is only 7 seconds left, so maybe Dupree can clutch this still. There's one. Woxic's behind the other side of the box, though, so he can't get the double spray and stop the bomb from being planted to time them out. And Dead Fox, with very low health, just 9, will take him out.
Just barely. I thought Astralis did enough in the initial hit to allow that flank to be effective, and you can see some frustration on Dupree's face. And why not? Another tactical pause coming out. 24 kills for Woxic, 23 for Dead Fox, 22 for Fates. Zipnix has 26, Caribbean and Dupree both at 20 on the Astralis side of things. 15-13, and Astralis need to come up with a game plan here. They need to come up with a miracle. They've got 4 CZs and an M4. And HellRaisers, you have to feel like almost anything would be effective here. Whether they want to go fast, whether they want to go slow, they have all the advantages in their camp. So it's up to them to dictate how this round is going to play out.
Now, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but if Astralis lose this game...
Oh, don't do this.
They're out, right?
I have no idea.
I just got top of the producer. No, they're not necessarily out.
I think a lot of it depends on how the other match is playing out, which at the moment is 14-10 for FaZe over Luminosity. I think Luminosity actually had a 9-6 lead after the first half, but
okay.
It all depends on how it plays out, how some of the other ones do.
Well, either way, they would be basically hoping that other teams do them a favor, as they would be on 4 points, and then HellRaisers would move up to 10. You'd have 2 other teams on 7, but maybe Astralis can bring this back. Maybe they can take us in to overtime, but this pie's not looking good.
It is absolutely battered by. Here's another, this boost earlier, Zipnix got a kill from it. It's a very tough angle to deal with. Can peer over towards doors and to the water. This is very similar to the last round from HellRaiser. The Fates playing very passive, watching for any aggression. Pop flash for his teammates to come outdoor and clear short sewers. Thankfully that stack was given up voluntarily by Astralis. There's the flash, there's the peek. Easy control gained by HellRaisers. No surprises, not a whole lot to challenge by Astralis. Dupree's the first one spotted out in bathrooms, and he's got a teammate here as well as Rubino, and Dupree can get nothing done. Great angle holding by Angel.
Yeah, it appeared that he still thought the player was going to connect, but Angel was more to his left-hand side. QB's fallen. The final curtain may be starting to come down for Astralis here on Overpass. Zipnix and Glaive, they are both on A, which is potentially where the bomb is heading. And it is going up long, so declaration of intent for the time being is HellRaisers 1A. It doesn't matter if Astralis are in place because they are being simultaneously battered down, and HellRaisers have done it. Astralis made a mini comeback, but it just wasn't good enough.
That is an impressive game from HellRaisers as well, because their initial plan was stopped eventually by Astralis and able to adjust accordingly. Impressive as well, the young guys, Woxic, Issa, Fates. They had a very, very good game, that trio of young players. Dead Fox as well, big impact on the T side. And HellRaisers stuns Astralis here in Denmark.
Yeah, they had 3 players around 23, 24 frags. I mean, you can't really argue with that. Everyone pulling their weight.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. We'll get a full breakdown. We're going to head over to the Xfinity analyst desk with Alex, Sponge, and Yanko.
The Legion post-match breakdown.
Thanks very much, boys. Yes, a fantastic performance. Can do nothing more than just kind of mirror the thoughts of the casting desk, because I am joined by these fellas, and we're going to be hopefully providing a bit of additional insight. First things first, though, the main point that they're making there is HellRaisers have done what they did online, offline. It's a victory versus Astralis, a same map as they did win online. However, of course, unable to see the full roster from Astralis. Still, no credit taken away from HellRaisers. A good performance in managing to find an answer when things got lost. I mean, this was something that I think is going to be our big talking point.
They made it hard on themselves, losing to USPs on that eco early, right? And then that second half got taken away from them a little bit more so. But for me, I think Woxic on that CT side early with the AWP had 2 very pivotal rounds, 2 very effective rounds with the AWP that got them a few more rounds than they needed. What?
Sorry, I was just desperately trying to clip my stuff, and they were on a one-shot. I was like, this is perfect. And then you just randomly cut to a 3 while you were talking.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Why don't you keep talking? I'm just going to fix this clip.
I was just talking about Woxic and his prowess on the AWP. And it was pretty good. What do you reckon, Yanko?
Well, I reckon, because this is like a time-consuming process for Alex, and he didn't do a great job just yet, we have an example of that, Chad, on the Telestrator, so we can skip straight onto that. Yeah, exactly, because we were talking about HellRaisers and how their CT sides have been their weakness. We can leave it paused for now, and you can see how the setup they have towards long. So Woxic is taking care of toilets. Angel and Dead Fox are in this like very, very strong setup towards long, where the goal behind it is for Dead Fox to draw first contact. Everyone's going to focus on him, and that's where Angel can scoop up and basically get all the kills. Obviously, this leaves the B-bomb site a bit weaker, and that's why the players there are playing a bit more safe. Phase here, I think, is only jumping for info, and he is going to fall back as soon as he gets any contact. And this is how you need to play Overpass. This is what you love to see on the CT side. You need to pick where you're going to be aggressive and take some risks. Obviously, the weak point is the short and toilets area, so if Astralis just decides to walk into A or go straight towards that side of the map, it is going to be difficult for HellRaisers to retake, but not impossible. And you can play it out. The rest of it, you can see the highlight round from Woxic. Obviously, a big deal was the fact that they picked up the AWP for him. The previous round ended up in a 1v1, so this was a reset round. That's why Astralis forced. It was super important for HellRaisers to win this round, and they did so in a convincing manner, which really gave them the control of the economy and really allowed them to get off to that, I believe it was 7-1 start on the CT side.
Astralis did suss them out though, Chad. They did seem to they found the answer eventually, and I think the way Vince put it was, guys, HellRaisers are going to come through smokes.
They just clawed their way back, right? And then I think when we flicked on over to that T side, the cool thing from HellRaisers was they had some nice executes, some really fast plays, especially towards that B bomb site early. And you know me, Alex, I always like strats that set the tone, and that was one of them. That was a strat that really gave them, a chance to force Astralis onto the back foot. It was a good way to kick off the half, and I think it wouldn't have been as close as it was if they didn't cop that eco to the USPs, which is...
It could have been a stomp. Not a stomp, but it could have been much more convincing.
Yeah, and you hate to lose to USPs.
Yeah, it is an agonizing defeat for sure.
Despite them losing to... Yes, they did lose to USPs, but they again won both pistols. Another problem for Astralis, that they couldn't win a pistol yet again, and now they're in dire straits.
Yeah, we're missing Dennis for sure. They'll be doing the Sultans of Swing, or the dance to it, if they don't manage to pick another win up. They need 3 points, and it still is not necessarily all in their hands. Just want to bring up that Woxic replay again, just because there's a couple of interesting things. If maybe we could just bring it up in a full screen for you, because this player has absolutely performed out of his skin. 25 frags from this guy. He's rocking the AWP. He's taking it away from Dead Fox, which is a statement in itself. He's saying, look, you're competent. he's been picked up to play at that side of how much credit they're giving him, and he's doing it with 1600 DPI and 3 in-game sensitivity. Look at these adjustments. Look how quick these micro adjustments are with a sensitivity that high.
Must be a source player.
For people who are like, well, it's 3 sensitivity, it's not that high, so it's about the DPI, the normal DPI where most players play at. The default one is 400.
Yeah.
That would basically be you guys at home playing with 12 sensitivity.
Yeah.
Which I can't even grasp.
So,
like, I play with a low sensitivity to begin with, like 1.5. Like, moving it to 1.7 for me is like, I don't know how to play this game.
So
let alone 12, and he's an AWPer. Like, how do you do those tracking shots?
I did a bit of research. The average DPI, or the average sensitivity settings for a pro player, is about 800 DPI 1 across everyone that competes professionally. So he is double that, and then he's, instead of 1, he's 3. So just the DPI itself, it's just absurd. So you can see his mouse mat, it's about the size of my hand, but he's still hitting fantastic shots, and 25 frags versus Astralis. So huge amount of credit individually to not only him, but I mean, he got to top of the scoreboard, Dead Fox and Fates as well, performing, firing on all cylinders.
And update from the B stream, Alex. FaZe did manage to close out that game versus Luminosity, and that secures both them and HellRaisers a spot in the playoffs. And now we have the duel between them. Basically, is going to be who clinches that semi-final bye.
Yeah.
And duel between Astralis and Fnatic is going to be basically a direct head-to-head, and the winner gets the 3rd place in the group.
Absolutely, they do. But before we start talking about that one and how intense that will be, we have a hugely relieved. These are some of the best interviews Stunner gets to do. It's an absolute gift because he's got a very happy HellRaiser hanging by with him. Let's hear what they're saying as now HellRaisers have secured themselves a spot in the playoffs.
That's absolutely right. I'm here with Izza, and these guys have just secured their way into the big show itself. Now, look, man, talk to me a little bit about this matchup right away.
It was pretty hard match. At the start, we was playing our game, but suddenly we started to struggle for some reason. They changed their playstyle, how they play. Like they were playing slowly, they were taking water, and then they changed their playstyle. I don't know, and then we started to struggle. But after some pauses, we knew how they play, and we countered them actually with how they played.
It's seemingly that they played into your aggression rather and started maybe waiting it out a little bit, bringing it back to a closer game. But ultimately, talk to me a little bit about the impact that Woxic had, for example. Let's just start with Woxic. Jesus.
Woxic is a very, very good AWPer when he's on fire. Like, he's a really, really good AWPer in my opinion. But sometimes he do a lot of risk moves, and if he dies, it's rip because he likes to do a lot of solo moves, But it's very good for the team because, to be honest, I'm the same. Like, I like to be solo player sometimes, So me and Woxic are like brothers on the team, Sometimes he do solo moves, sometimes me. But his moves are absolutely insane in this tournament. Like, everything was working for him, and he had very impact. Rating.
Well, it's one of those things that you can be punished for should you get too aggressive. They can definitely capitalize and take a round from you.
To be honest, aggressive, it's our style, under Angel lead, our style is aggressive, and we are already aggressive players, so we kind of like it, and it's hard for some teams to counter us. Like, some teams struggle to play against us because of our play style, but also we have plan B. If we got countered on how we are playing on aggressive, then we have a plan B, how to play actually defensive, but we always start with our play style. We just play our game, we don't care about who we play, we just play and see how it goes. We are very comfortable against those teams as we beat them online. So,
pretty sure that's the way it's supposed to go. You play into your own game. Now, look, you guys are going to be battling for first place here in the group. You're going to be kicking off against FaZe here real shortly. Talk to me a little bit about that matchup because it does have some implications, right? You guys are on fire here, but how do you feel going into that matchup?
I feel very comfortable, to be honest, especially because I'm going to play against Olof. He's my bro. I know him since FPL. He's a very good guy. Perfect personality, so I like to play against him. And secondly is because we beat them online 2-0, and that makes me comfortable because I know we beat that team before. So I really don't care about who we play, to be the best, you need to beat out the best. So we are here to show everybody that we have something to show, and that's all.
Well, Izza wise words right there. You heard it. They do have their work cut out for them. They're going to be going up against FaZe to determine who has the #1 seed in this group. But to break it down just a little bit further are the friendly fellows over the Xfinity analyst desk.
Thanks so much. Yeah, very happy Issa there standing by with Stunner. And I love this, especially when you have the newer players. You tend to get a whole lot more from the interviews because it's word vomit and you learn so much more. There's no restraint and I love it. He's talking about their adjustments they made. Astralis stopped taking water and you get a whole lot from that interview. So that's awesome stuff from Stunner and Issa. And now HellRaisers, he's not wrong, do have one final task ahead and they're going to be playing against FaZe Clan. Bit too much for them to chew. I mean, we'll find out.
With that energy, anything's possible, I think. I was really energetic. I enjoyed that interview a lot.
Me too.
No pressure at all. I mean, they probably had some pressure on their shoulders coming into the Astralis game because they know they can beat them. They beat them online. Now they're standing. That's their chance. Now they secure the place in the playoffs. With FaZe, they're only playing for seeding. So a lot of pressure is going to be in that Fnatic Astralis game because that's a direct duel. Whoever wins it, although it has to be in regulation for Astralis to get that playoff spot. If it goes into overtime, it doesn't matter if Fnatic is through.
Yeah, so Fnatic will be playing a battle for 15 if they want to be picking themselves up a spot in the playoffs. That's coming up next. In fact, we can bring up the schedule just so you can get your head around exactly where we are at right now. There are going to be multiple games played on multiple streams, but this one on our main stream we have chosen is going to be Fnatic Astralis just because, as Yanko has painted a picture, it's going to be important. Due to the head-to-heads, they have to win as well in regulation, so keep your eyes on this one.
Listen, you can also see how much the new pointing system means. I mean, Fnatic has 3 wins, but 2 of them have been in overtime. So that only gives them 4 instead of 6 points. They would have also been safe and sound after this. So now they have to fight yet again, and this time even overtime is enough.
HellRaisers, they did it. They did do a fantastic job online, and they've done it offline as well. Let's not forget, HellRaisers playing against FaZe Clan as well on our secondary stream, and they beat them 2-0 online. Maybe he said already that's given him a bit of a confidence boost. We'll be talking all about that, and so will the B stream. You can find it all on the same YouTube place. It is, of course, youtube.com/ESLCS if you want to catch that action on your second screen. Right, we're going to take a break. When we do come back, we're going to be talking all about Fnatic Astralis and just how on earth we got to this point where just one team will be making it to the playoffs. Join us after that.
We say so, we want your soul. We are gonna take control, shaking you up right now. You are gonna scream out loud. We want your soul. We are gonna take control.
Skybox. Stairs.